Eso.
He's been a long-time champion for justice and fighting environmental racism. I'm very proud to have him here today, so give him a warm round of applause before we march out. Richard Franklin, everybody.
Good evening, or morning, whatever it is. I'm frozen, so I'm not thinking straight. I also wrote some notes down here because I don't normally speak with notes, but I'm driven by the pain I'm feeling right now, which causes a great deal of anger and blocks thought, normal thought. And I'm just wondering if I'm in the right place with the right people right now. If you are highly disturbed by what's going on in your world right now, say boo. Y'all ain't right. Because if you're not mad as hell right now, if you're mad as hell about what's going on right now, say boo. Thank you. Because for some odd reason, we don't act like our hair is on fire. And it's about to be. We are opening up the ozone and letting the sun in, and it's burning us up. We're changing the climate, and no one cares. We're standing around watching it happening, and no one cares. And we do things that make us feel good, and at the end of the day, we go home and go, well, I did everything I could today, and that was the end of it. Until the next thing we do, and then we do it again. At the same time, people are dying around us in the worst ways. There's a crime being created right now amongst us, and we are allowing it to happen. There's a crime being committed. It's committed in the name of progress. It is caused by our need for greed and excess to a whole nother level. And we are all complicit. Every time we go to the store and decide to buy that crap that we don't need, we are complicit in allowing the people who have the money to do what they do to us. And they continue to do it. We are complicit. So we must take responsibility for our own actions at some point in time and realize that we are also playing into this game that we're saying we're fighting against. We're walking around looking at tall buildings, building more and more buildings, and yet realizing that we're tearing out the impervious cover that saves us from ourselves. When do we stop that? When do you say enough is enough? Yesterday morning, I made my monthly trip down to the corner store to buy water. In my neighborhood, we have to buy water so that we can sustain life, because the water that we get out of our taps, we can't even drink. It makes a dog sick. You didn't know that, did you? I live in a neighborhood where those who have lost touch with their humanity dump their trash, burn their animals, and destroy the grounds so they can build bigger buildings, better roads, and for their own pleasure. I live where people pay the penalty for being poor. When the dumpster fire started 2 years ago, it burned for more than 2 weeks and no one put it out. And all we did was breathe those terrible pollutants for weeks at a time. There was no attempt to even put the fire out. No, you didn't know that either. Presently, people are protesting, people being killed with bullets and bombs around the world, especially here in America. But I've got to tell you, a bullet or a bomb is a merciful death compared to the types of death my people suffer every day. I live in Del Valle. I live out east. I live where they've moved to poverty, out east. I move where they make us pay the penalty for being poor, out east. The land was cheap. They said, go out there. And then they flooded us. They killed us with water. They changed the actual ground that we lived on, the topography, and no one said anything. No one did an environmental study about the fact that when you change the earth, you change what we do to the earth. And then you change what happens to us. No one asked a question. My neighbors, my kids, have 2 times the normal rate of asthma of the rest of the kids in Central Texas, in eastern Travis County, where I live. Check it out, Del Valle. You can ask the questions of it. Our neighbors live near the second highest point in Travis County, around a trash dump. They have more types of cancer around that than anywhere else in Texas. Yet, we talk about mitigating the damage. You cannot mitigate something that's already killing us. To maintain the status quo is still killing us. We must reverse the effects of what you're doing to us. We must talk to the people who have the button pushers, the policymakers, the power brokers, and hit them where it hurts and tell them enough is enough. And we must stop playing into their games. We must stop dividing ourselves and work together to make sure that what they're doing to all of us, they must recognize they're doing to themselves. At some point in time, they got to realize that the water that you pollute, eventually you will drink. The land that you sit on, that you pollute, eventually you will have to live on, as they've done in East Travis County right now. They're coming. We see it. No one cares. You say you do, but at the end of the day, I don't see you in my neighborhood complaining about what they're doing to me every day. You want to march down there and then march over to the west side and say, hey, you guys are the ones doing this. Why won't you stop that? We're marching downtown. No one hears us. You want to make it heard? Stop commerce tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, call up everyone that has a button, a power to be broked, a position where they can change what happens in our community, and jam the phone lines. Hit their emails. Make sure they can't do commerce. Because when you hit them in the pocketbook, you make them know exactly where they live and where they need to live. They need to live with us in our pain. They need to live with us down here on the ground, not in the ivory towers, not in bigger and bigger buildings. This must stop. When does it stop? It stops now. Thank you, son. Thank you. This is for them. At the end of the day, if you don't realize who we're supposed to be doing this for, it's for them. We're supposed to leave the world better for these kids. When does it start? When we finish our protest, we better get busy like our hair's on fire. Tomorrow, call, email, blog, whatever you got to do, call up phone lines, whatever you got to do to slow down commerce. We've got to be proactive about the way we change things. All of these issues are happening in my community if it caused me to have a mental disease. I have empathy disease. I feel the pain of the people I live with. I'm hoping at the end of the day I can inflict all of that pain on you and make you also have the same process of mental disease I have, empathy disease. And then we take that same disease out here into the community and make them have the same kind of pain, inflict it on them and make them understand they must feel the pain of people that we are killing and stop being part of the process. We are going to leave here and march down the street, but at the end of the day, we also got work to do, like your hair's on fire. So what are we going to do? Hair's on fire? We're going to get busy? All right, where's that chant?
What do we want? When do we want it?
Yesterday.
He's marching enough.
No!